According to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, James Harden is finally on the move. Harden will be headed to the Brooklyn Nets. And it's a 3-team deal. Actually, it's a 4-team deal because ultimately the Rockets involve the Pacers. But here's how it goes at this point. James Harden is going to the Brooklyn Nets. All right? Harden's in Brooklyn. You got Caris LeVert. You also have Dante Exum involved and Kurucs involved in the deal. And also 4 first-round picks going to Houston. And that one of those first-round picks includes Cleveland's 2022 first-round pick from the Bucks. All right? So LeVert, Exum, Kurucs, 4 first-round picks going to Houston. The Rockets now, they ultimately decided to trade LeVert to the Pacers for Victor Oladipo. So now the Rockets get Oladipo in this deal. And then, of course, the Brooklyn Nets, they get James Harden. Also, the Cavaliers get Jarrett Allen and Taurean Prince in the deal. But the Rockets, they got rid of James Harden. James Harden's made it clear last night that this team couldn't win. That was his opportunity, his chance, his moment to finally get out. The Rockets pulled the trigger, and now James Harden is in Brooklyn. You look at the Brooklyn Nets now. Obviously, this is going to be a tough team to beat. Ultimately, we got to figure out the situation with Kyrie Irving and playing basketball at this point, but we have to figure it out. But if they have Kyrie Irving and they have Kevin Durant and they have James Harden and all healthy, you have to say at this point, the Brooklyn Nets are the favorites. I'm looking here at their roster, right? So after this trade, the way this roster shakes out is Durant, Harden, Irving, DeAndre Jordan, Joe Harris, Landry Shamet, Tyler Johnson, TLC, Jeff Green, Bruce Brown, and a few others. Spencer Dinwiddie's out for the year, but a few others on the list. But here's the reality of the situation. The Brooklyn Nets, they're in position to go for it. You remember that many years ago that after Kevin Durant and Paul Pierce, and they went for it, and that was an awful, awful situation because that never got them the championship that they wanted. But you look at it now, with Durant, with Harden, with Kyrie Irving, this is the favorite. The Brooklyn Nets are the favorite at this point. There was talk that Philadelphia was involved, and obviously you have the connection with Daryl Morey and everything, but obviously the Nets came through and got what they wanted. Your Rockets, after what James Harden did last night, pretty much saying he wanted out, this team wasn't good enough. I mean, you had to make the move. You had to make the deal. You had to do something. And ultimately, they did something. So you look at the Houston Rockets, they got picks. Oladipo is solid. He has an expiring contract, so they can determine what they want to do from there. But now you got Oladipo, you got John Wall, you got Christian Wood, you got Boogie Cousins, and you got a clear direction at this point. Maybe more importantly, you got a clear direction because the reality of it is James Harden didn't want to be there, and it was no use. They were trying to make it work, trying to have the situation go the best way it could go. But ultimately, James Harden wanted out. And because he wanted out, they had to make the move. And last night, that was it. After what he did last night, the move had to be made. So it should be interesting to see what happens with this Nets roster. Obviously, we got to figure out what's going on with Kyrie, whether or not this dude really wants to play basketball or whether he does or doesn't. Who knows? I think he does, and ultimately, I think he will come back. And ultimately, I think if these 3 guys are healthy, these 3 guys come together, these 3 guys, Durant, Harden, and Irving, can win a championship. The Nets are going for it. They're going for it, and they're trying to win an NBA title right now. And you look at them in the East, they're struggling a little bit. They had some situation, Durant, health and safety protocols. Obviously, Kyrie in his situation, left the team for quote-unquote personal reasons. But we don't necessarily all know the particulars of everything. But you look at that team, they have to be your favorite. Not only in the East, but if they get to the NBA Finals, say, against the Lakers, you know how much fun that'll be? You know how much fun that would be if we get a LeBron versus Kyrie in the NBA Finals, a LeBron against Durant, a LeBron and AD against Durant, Kyrie, and Harden. That's going to be fun. But it's even going to be fun in the East You know, the Sixers are still going to be there. I'm not saying they're as good as the Nets. They're going to be there. Boston's going to be there. I'm not saying they're as good as the Nets. Milwaukee will be there. So all these teams will be there. It's going to be fun, but the deal is done. James Harden is in Brooklyn. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you check out this YouTube channel as we talk sports and have fun doing it.